Hi, thank you for looking at my presentation. Today I'm going to be sharing an overview of how Arizona approaches English learner instruction, specifically through structured English immersion and the language development approach developed by the State of Arizona Department of Education. As educators, I'm not a teacher yet, but I am a early childhood educator in pre-K in Texas as a para. Understanding the framework behind EL, which is English Learners Instruction, help us to be more intentional in how we support multilingual learners in our classrooms. My goal today is to walk through Arizona's definition of English learner, explain the instruction models used, and to highlight and note the research-based principles that guide EL instruction across the state. Arizona's definition of an English learner is quoted: in Arizona, an English learner, or EL, is a student whose primary home language is not English and who has limited proficiency in English, meaning they need additional support to fully access academic content. These students are identified through a home language survey and assessed using AZELLA, which measures English language proficiency. It's super important to remember that EL status is not about language proficiency, or is about language proficiency, not intelligence, not ability or potential. These students are fully capable learners who are developing bilingual or even multilingual skills. That perspective really matters when we think about how we serve them. Moving on to slide 3, the demographics of Arizona EL students. Arizona serves over 80,000 multilingual learners across pre-K through 12 schools. Spanish is the most common home language, but students also speak Navajo, Somali, Arabic, Mandarin, Vietnamese, and tons of other languages. Arizona's geographic location and cultural diversity make multilingualism a significant part of our school communities. This diversity is truly a strength because when we recognize that the EL population brings rich linguistic and cultural knowledge into our classrooms, it shifts our mindset from remediation to opportunity. For slide 4, what is structured English immersion? This is basically Arizona's state-mandated model for English learner instruction, and SEI English is the primary language of instruction, but it's delivered in a structured, intentional, and scaffolded way. SEI is designed to explicitly teach English language skills while still supporting access to grade-level content. It's important to clarify that SEI is not a sink-or-swim approach, but is systematic and aligned to English language proficiency standards with dedicated time for language development. For slide 5, we are moving on to SEI versus sheltered instruction. SEI is often confused with sheltered instruction, but they are not the same. SEI is a state-required program model, and sheltered instruction, such as the SIOP model, is an instructional approach used to make content comprehensible for English learners. These use strategies like visuals, modeling, cooperative learning, sentence frames, and they could be used in pretty much any classroom. So while SEI defines the structure, sheltered instruction defines how teachers deliver content in those accessible ways. Slide 6 is Arizona's language development approach. The Arizona Department of Education developed the language development approach in 2019. At the core of this framework is a belief that English learners are valuable members of our educational community and that all educators share responsibility for their success. The framework includes 4 research-based principles that guide their instruction. The ultimate goal is that for these EL students to develop a language proficiency, academic achievement, and a strong sense of agency, confidence, and determination. For slide 7, we're focusing on asset-based behaviors and expectations. The first principle focuses on asset-based behaviors and expectations. This basically just means that recognizing that multilingualism is an asset and that students' home languages and cultures are strengths, not barriers. Educators are expected to create affirming and inclusive environments built on students' background knowledge and foster strong partnerships with families and communities. When these students feel valued and respected, they are more confident and way more willing to take risks in language development. Confidence is very important. For slide 8, principle number 2 is integrated language and content instruction. Instead of teaching language separately from subjects like math, science, or social studies, educators intentionally plan lessons that develop both language and content simultaneously. Teachers use both content standards and English language proficiency standards to guide instruction through scaffolds, discussions, meaningful tasks. Students build their academic language while engaging in rigorous learning. Slide 9 is Principle 3, targeted and explicit language instruction. English learners need direct instruction in vocabulary, sentence structures, and academic discourse. They also need opportunities to practice across reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Explicit instruction gives these students the tools they need to participate confidently in academic conversations. Slide 10. The fourth principle highlights assessment, monitoring, and feedback. Teachers use these formative and summative assessments to monitor both language development and content understanding. These could be such as like daily check-ins, just helping teachers address instruction in real time. For slide 11, student agency is woven throughout Arizona's language development approach. This agency just means that students develop confidence, voice, and self-determination. Teachers can support agency by offering choices, encouraging reflection, different teaching strategies, and setting monitor goals. That the internal confidence is just as important as language proficiency. For slide 12, Arizona approved several research-based SEI models to meet diverse student needs. The newcomer model provides intensive support for recent arrivals. The pull-out model allows students to receive English language development outside of the general classroom for a portion of the day. The 2-hour model includes a dedicated daily block of language instruction, and the 50-50 dual language immersion model provides instruction in both English and a partner language requiring a parental waiver. Each of these models serves different student populations, but all must align with the Arizona language development approach and its 4 guiding principles. Thank you for listening.